My people in the East, yo, you gotta wake up. Midwest, dirty South, yo, you gotta stand up. All my homies in the West, yo, you gotta wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to Sold Out Single S.O.S. Wake up, everybody. No more sleeping in bed. It is time to wake our minds up. It is time to stay woke. We're going to talk about the host of Wake Up, Stay Woke. I have a very special guest today, and I will speak her name, Dr. E.Faye Willliams, Esquire. I am so happy and excited about today. We're celebrating women of history and legacy. Heavenly Father, thank you for today. Thank you that it's a beautiful day. It's a day we've never seen before. We shall never see again. We want our life to count today for your glory, your honor. Use us, guide us, protect us, keep us. Let us walk in your essence. Let us walk in your truth. Let us walk in your righteousness. It is that I pray today. I pray for my sister Keita and her family and her situation. Pray for my family and my sister, Shanita, I speak her name. I pray for Pastor Jill. I pray for Sister Ayanna. I pray for Dr. E.Faye, and I pray for all the sisters of history and legacy, all the sisters of S.O.S, all the sisters of our community. Bless us, lead us, guide us to fulfill your purpose in us, through us, for you. It is in your son's name, Yeshua, known as Jesus the Christ. Amen. Oh, thank you for joining us, sisters. We appreciate you. Oh my gosh. Keep our sister Keita, my co-host, in your prayers. She had a situation this morning, so she won't be able to be on today, but we have her in our thoughts and in our heart. Keep her in mind. You guys that's been following us, you know our purpose, you know our mission and vision. Bring that up so we can see that. We always like to keep it as a reminder before us. I know Pastor Jill taught in one of her seminars, if you forget or lose your why, you'll lose your way. So this keeps us on course. We are focused on providing a sisterhood community with an open space to express your whole single self. That's what we're here for. Our vision, bring that up. Our vision is to spiritually invest in a nourishing, God-centered lifestyle experience, starting with us first. We've been doing this for a while now. We pray that those of you who've been joining and have joined, that you would continue to join and continue to focus on those things that makes you who you are, so that God can use you for his purpose, for how he created you, whatever your talent and gift is, and whatever the reason, whatever you got to bring to the earth, only you can do it. Our purpose is to raise awareness to the single woman, to promote self-empowerment, to live your authentic self, your best self, through truth. Ain't no other way, but through truth and through a concentrated effort in practicing spiritual principles. That's all we got. We ain't living a perfect life. We're living a redeemed life. And let the Redeemer of the Lord say so. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. I'm going to read a little bit about this beautiful, fabulous woman of history. Just a little bit. Dr. E.Faye Willliams. Currently, she's the international president of the Dick Gregory Society, Inc. She's an attorney. She's a civic leader and an activist. And let me tell you a little bit. She was a CEO of the National Congress of Black Women. We went to a few of her brunches. She's doing some great things. Former counsel to the U.S. Congress, D.C. Subcommittee of the Judiciary and Education. She served as legislative counsel and chief of staff for a District of Columbia council member. She was a presidential scholars commissioner for President Barack Obama. Let me see what else she got going on. She has a few degrees, a master's degree, a PhD in public administration, always been serving. She currently serves as a member of the board of directors for the World Conference of Mayors, a member of the board of directors for the National African American Reparations Commission, a member of the advisory board of the African Diaspora Development Institute, ADDI, She's a member of the board of the National Policy Alliance. She's a member of the board for the late Congressman Mervyn M. Damali, African American Political Institute. She's a peace and human rights activist and a peace ambassador for the United Nations after studying diplomacy and protocol. She is the author of 4 books on political and foreign affairs, one of which entitled The Peace Terrorist, which chronicles her 40-day peace mission in the Middle East. Her most recent book is entitled The Truth Shall Set You Free. And yes, she has a radio show. Now, after all of that, she also hosts a radio show called Wake Up and Stay Woke. And I was fortunate enough to be a guest on her show a couple of weeks ago. My sisters, brothers, anyone else that's listening, please help me welcome to the S.O.S. conversation, Dr. E.Faye Willliams. I speak your name, woman of history. I'm about to run out of breath out of all the stuff you've done for our community and our culture and our people. Let me first say thank you.
Hello, my sisters, and thank you so very much. And since you were reading that, I've written 2 other books, but that's okay.
Tell me those 2 other
sort of an old version, but it's okay. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be doing things that help our people, not just ourselves. So I like to write every week. I'm a columnist, for Tri-Sydney Wire Service, and I write articles every week for all the Black papers in the country. So hopefully they enjoy and they get something from what I read. There's never a dull day in my life. I don't know who might have thought that it's bad to be single. I think it's wonderful. I've been single most of my life. And if I ever get married, don't hold it against me now. It's just that I'm not out looking to get married because I'm so excited with all the things there are to be done out there.
Wonderful. Oh my gosh. What are your other 2 books, Dr. E.Faye, please?
I wrote a book about Dick Gregory. It's called Wake Up and Stay Woke. And the reason for that is the day that he left us, that he made his transition. I was in his room, and those were the words I heard him say. Those were the last words. He was talking to our people about our need to wake up, to stay woke, to do things, because when we go to sleep, bad things begin to happen all over again. So even though we think we've accomplished something, we actually begin to lose. And we can see that is exactly what's happening now. There are people who are trying to take away many of the rights that he and others fought for many years. Wow. And the second book is my life story. It doesn't have a name yet. It's with my agent. It's going to be something like, this is my life, this is me, or something. I'm not sure. But while I was ill, I don't know if you know, for almost the past year, I had surgery for gallbladder and pancreatitis and all kinds of things. And I'd never been sick before. But instead of just lying in bed for the last several months, I decided to write my life story. And I encourage everyone to write your life story. You always have something that someone else can benefit from, whether it's good or whether it's bad. I encourage all of my sisters to write your life story. It's important. And I'll even help you if you need me.
I'm going to call on you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. I have this shirt on, Her Story.
Yes.
So I'm going to hope and write to whomever created this to add Dr. E.Faye Willliams to this t-shirt.
Well, thank you very much. I think I'm on a calendar like that. So I saw it just the other day with several wonderful women. I'm going, oh my God, I feel so special to be on a calendar with them.
I got to get a copy of that, Dr. E.Faye.
Okay.
That's beautiful and wonderful. And we should be honoring women like you and women of history who just carried the torch for us for years. Way before I was born, and I was born early 60, in the 60s, 63. So you already been doing some major work by the time I was like traveling, coming out to the earth. And I just say thank you for all the trailblazers and including you and celebrating you. And I thank those who decided to do a month to celebrate women of history, which is so important to me. And I love history. And I love especially celebrating women of your stature.
I took the entire month of March to celebrate women. I told the brothers they could only come on if they had something good to say about a sister. Well, only one wanted to come on. That was because he had an event coming up and I allowed him to come on. but he was talking about the women farmers too. So that made sense that I would allow him to talk about that. But otherwise, it was a sister month. I've still got a week coming up, another day to do nothing but sisters. And I'm looking forward to that. One of the people I have on is a young woman. So when we talk about young people, let's remember they're doing some great things. This young woman has graduated with honors. And of course, she has now applied for law school. And she has 18 major universities that want her to come and go to law school at their school. And I think that's worth applauding this young sister.
Yes.
And among them are all of them like Stanford, Harvard, UCLA, well, Howard is there too. That's my law school. So I'm proud that that's one of the ones that has
HU.
Yes.
What can you speak her name? Can you share her name, or is that okay?
Her name is Jordan Andrews, and she'll be on my program at 10 a.m. My program is called Wake Up and Stay Woke, and I thank you for playing my song this morning. That's my intro song, and her name is Jordan Andrews. She's from Michigan. I knew her mom. Her mom and I worked together. That's how I know all about what she's doing. I worked in Michigan at one time, and that's where she still lives. But we should always applaud our young people when they're doing great things, because so many people think that young people are weird these days, and all of them are not. Some of them are, but all of them are not. And we should always uplift them when they're doing great things.
I agree, Dr. E.Faye. And Dr. E.Faye, I just have a couple of questions for you, since you're my special guest. And then if you allow, I may have some of the sisters may want to ask you a question or two, if that's okay. But we'll follow your lead on that.
As long as I don't have to give them an answer. No, it's okay.
You are so funny, just like Dr. Gregory.
Well, that's what, Dick Gregory always told me that. He said that Barack Obama and I could be comedians, although we don't look like we would be, but we really are. So I'm proud to say I helped him with one or two of his jokes,
Hello, how about that? See, you're a ghostwriter. So Dr. E.Faye, so here we go. I just want to find out, when did you join the struggle? The civil rights movement, the peace movement, the human rights, all that you've done. When did you decide, or what started that for you? What year, what month, what caused that in you to say, I need to do this. This is who I'm called to be?
Well, it's interesting. I was probably in middle school. I think we called it junior high school then, but middle school, when we lived in a little town in Louisiana that was so small that I don't even remember the name of the town. We just called it Little River. That's where we lived. And my mom wanted us to have a way to get to school, because we had been walking. We were just little girls walking miles to school every morning. We never missed a day. But at a certain point, my mom said, we need to get a bus to come and pick up the children in the neighborhood. There were not a whole lot of us, but we lived really far back and we had a long way to walk. So she decided she was going to petition the school board to get the bus. But of course, before she did that, she had to petition them to get a gravel road. I know those of you who are not country girls don't know what a gravel road is, but we lived so far back, we didn't have pavement or cement or anything. We had a gravel road. So we had to go to the neighbors, walk around, tell them about what my mom wanted to do. And of course, most of the neighbors were not well educated, didn't know what a petition was. We as little girls, there were 7 of us in my family, and we had to go around with this little paper and talk to them about what my mom wanted to do, and finally get them to sign it. And, there were people in those days that I was growing up that were very suspicious of anything, signing anything. Sometimes people quickly sign something today, but people were very suspicious about signing anything. But we were nice little girls. We were known to be nice little girls. And we finally got everybody to sign it who had children in the area. My mom went to the school board and she was able to get both the gravel road and the bus. So we didn't have to walk to school. And it wasn't just for my mom's children, it was for all the children in the neighborhood.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for sharing. I'm a country girl, so I know about the dirt roads and the gravel roads. I'm from North Carolina, so I'm a country girl. I just moved to the city when I was little, but I'm a country girl at heart.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you. I have another question for you.
I went on to get involved in some more things as time went on.
Mhm.
I went to Los Angeles after graduating from college, and I studied there at several universities. And I would always come back home when my mom was doing something important, because she was an activist in the community and her daughters had no choice. And I say her daughters because she had seven daughters before she had any sons. So in our household, obviously there were no boys' jobs and girls' jobs. There were just jobs, and girls did those jobs. So we had to be activists very early in life, and we had to work not only at the home, but whatever work there was to do in the community, as long as we were old enough to do it.
Yes, ma'am. That's so wonderful. And for your mom being a trailblazer herself. So I salute her as well and celebrate her in this Women's History Month. So Dr. Williams, if you had one word to describe you, what would that one word be?
Well, that's easy because people always complain and tell me I do too much. It would be caring. I care about everything in the world, it seems. And sometimes I just wonder, why do I have to care? That means I've got to do something about it, because I don't believe you can care very much if you aren't also willing to do something to change the situation or to make the situation, better. I did what I call retired a few months ago. I work now more than I worked when I was out there getting a paycheck. There's just so much to do, and it's such a joy when you can care about something and help someone. And many times people say, I don't have any money, and it's okay. It's okay. We don't have to have money for everything that we do. There is joy in caring.
Oh my God, I'm so in agreement with you, Dr. E.Faye. I sometimes joke because I have a regular job, but the work that I do for my church and my community that I don't get paid for is my joy. Mm-hmm. That is my reward. That is my resource. I so agree with that. I, like you, I care. When I thought about you and I thought of the one word, for me, when I think about you, is resilience.
Oh, I think I have to be that. I've worked all of my life since I was a little girl, and I've had to adjust to many different situations. I've lived in the country. I've lived on the West Coast. I've lived in the South, on the East Coast. I've lived abroad, and I've had to adjust to all of those situations. But I think they were wonderful because they taught me a lot of things, and I was able to get involved in many things. My mom had started all of us out very early, getting things done. We had to learn a skill. Each of us in the family had something that we were supposed to do. And, there are times you just sort of work like a dog to get something done, and there are people who don't appreciate what you're doing. And unfortunately, some of them are sisters. And that's when it hurts worse, because I think as sisters, we need to understand what most of us go through just to get to be whatever we are. And I mean, I've been through everything about, well, who does she think she is? I'm sure many sisters have heard that one. And while you are just working so hard to try to improve things, being from Louisiana, I've had to go through the black-white thing, the dark skin, light skin thing. I mean, we have all kinds of things that we pick on each other for instead of lifting each other up. So I think that's why I care so much. And I have sisters. I want people to be kind to them and to recognize their work. And I try to compliment young people, elderly people, all, because we have some senior citizens like my mom. My mom was in her 90s and she was still saying, oh, I've got to go over to church and help the old people do something, That's just the way she was. And as I said, she's right here behind me. She's my inspiration on this picture. I keep her in mind because she always let us know that we could do almost anything. So when someone asks me if I can do something, sometimes I have to say, well, I don't know, but give me 2 minutes and I think I'll know how. So I know how to read. I know how to go to the computer. I have books of every description in my house. One of my little nephews came and looked at all the books in every room. And he went back and described to his grandmother that I was rich. And I thought that's wonderful that he thinks because you have a lot of books, you are rich. So I'm rich in books, of course.
I love that. That's so beautiful.
Yes, I have lots of little, nieces, nephews, great nieces, great nephews. When my mother made her transition not long ago, we had the fifth generation in our family. We've had it twice, and fairly soon we've got some, late teenage girls coming alongside. Soon we'll have some more, but we have great grandchildren.
That's so wonderful. And thinking, I'm so happy because our segment today is about women of history and legacy. And your mom left a legacy, and you're carrying that on. And we're going to talk soon. You're going to hear my conversation with Dr. Dick Gregory's daughter, Ayanna Gregory, who's I call a woman of legacy. So
absolutely.
Yeah, and then I got that in for you. You asked me when I was on your radio show, is she going to sing? So I got a little bit in for you, Dr. E.Faye.
Oh, wonderful. Well, she's sort of like a daughter to me too. All of his children are, most of them, I should say, are. I've known them very well, and we continue to work together, be together, attend each other's events. Her brother, Dr. Christian Gregory, and I work a lot together. We talk every day about something, and we still try to work and carry on not only my mom's legacy, but his mom and his dad's legacy too. Yeah, we know each other. We're like family.
That's so beautiful. I love that. You know, you were speaking about the sisters and us caring for each other. And when Pastor Jill brought this idea, this vision to me, the S.O.S sold out single, and I thought about it more like, what are we? We are community, and we're a community, a sisterhood community, to help each other out. And I share sometimes I'm not living this perfect life, and my co-host Keita, but we are living a redeemed life. We're living a life where we're practicing spiritual principles, and it is about love and loving each other and caring for each other.
Absolutely.
Yes, I have one other question for you. How was it working alongside Mr. Dick Gregory, and as powerful as who you are in your own right?
Well, we never had an argument. He never yelled and screamed at me like he would do with people who wouldn't listen to what he was saying, because I listened and I took advantage of everything that he said. He always, got me to read for him because, his eyes got a little dim later in life. So I learned a lot just reading the same kinds of books he was interested in reading. I met him as early as 1965, I believe, when I was teaching in Los Angeles. And some people may remember it as the Watts riots. I call it the Watts revolts. But of course, Mr. Gregory always corrected me when I said things like that. He said, no. He said, when there is a revolt, you have something planned that you're supposed to do. When you're just breaking up things, you are rioting. Well, whatever it's called, the riot or the revolts. I was teaching at a school near where the revolts were going on. And that night, Mr. Gregory came out and walked into the middle of gunshots and everything, trying to quell the crowd. And that was my first time really knowing about him. It was much later in life, when I ran for the United States Congress in my home state of Louisiana, that he came down to help me in the race. And I didn't even really know him then. But when I came back to Washington after the congressional race was over, he just called me out of the blue one night. He was in Baltimore. He had done a show and asked me to come and pick him up. Well, you know what it's like to go to Baltimore on a Friday evening in that traffic. So I thought, he doesn't know me very well, but he was so charming. He got me to go and pick him up. And then he came to my home and invited several of his friends over because he wanted to teach them how to make bean pie, not pies, but like burgers. He wanted to make black bean burgers. That's what it was. So he showed them how to do it, and he put loads of cheese on it. And I'm going like, I don't know how healthy it is with all this cheese on it, but the people loved it. He wanted to show them there's no difference in the taste. The taste is in the seasoning of anything. And so when we finished, he decided he wanted to show me how to wash dishes. Now, his family's always been surprised that they show you how to wash dishes. But where did he learn to wash dishes? But of course, he was in the military. He just hadn't let them know that they used to wash dishes in the military. So he showed me, he said, first of all, you rinse the dishes off, and then you put them in some hot water and some Clorox so that they can soak. And then you take them out and put them in the dishwasher. And I'm like that little girl on television, like, what is the dishwasher for after you do all of that? But those are the kinds of things that we would do together. And then, of course, picketing. We picketed so many people and companies that needed to be picketed. We drove for miles in Florida when the British petroleum oil spill came about. And we got one of those SUVs. I'd never driven one before, but we rented the SUV and we drove all across Florida. He slept the entire way until we got where we were going, which was hours away. He woke up and said, "You want me to drive?" But he had been very comfortable with me driving. That's the way he was. So we did those things together around in Washington, D.C. area. Every time we heard about there was a rally for some particular cause, we went to do that. And I just enjoyed the friendship with him, but he kept me busy. He could be in Spain and wanted to know a line directly quoted in a book. And he called everybody baby. He said, "Baby, would you go to page so-and-so and get that exact quote for me?" I mean, he just knew all of these things somehow. I have no idea because he always said he wasn't a very good student, although he went on to college and played, and did track and field. And we just enjoyed being with each other and laughing. And he would practice some of his jokes on me. I think I knew just about all of his jokes. So I went on to write that book because I wanted to memorialize it, and I wanted people who didn't get to know him while he was living to know him after he has made his transition. I would advise everybody to read something about him and read the wonderful advice he gave you through those jokes. They weren't just plain old jokes to make you laugh. It was to help you to learn something.
And while you was talking, I was thinking about you and when you said you're writing his story, but you're also in the middle of writing your story.
Yes, I have actually written it. My agent has it now, and she's going over it, and she calls me all hours of the night laughing about some of the things that are in it, but that's fine. And right now, of course, I'm promoting the Dick Gregory book that I wrote, which is Wake Up and Stay Woke. And fairly soon mine will be out. But also I made a documentary with Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle and all the wonderful guys. Each of us had to say something about Mr. Gregory, and it's called The One and Only Dick Gregory. So I hope everybody will get a chance to see that documentary. It's still out there on maybe Showtime on demand. You can see it. That one actually was nominated for an Emmy. So that means we were one of 5. We didn't win, but we were at least nominated. And it's pretty good to be one of a group of 5, just like, yes. So I hope you get to see it. It's called The One and Only Dick Gregory. And Nick Cannon is in it. And I've forgotten who else is in it. But we just had short parts, to say something about Mr. Gregory that we remember. And it's funny. You'll enjoy it if you see it. I write, though, as I said, every day because I write for Hazel Trice Edney's wire service. She's the only Black woman who has a wire service. And I've been writing for her since Barack first became president. That was my inspiration to start taking that down. And there are some countries that are interested in that book because they're saying it is history, because every week I'm talking about what's going on that's of importance that I see as important. And I've been doing that now since Barack first became president. I have never missed a week of writing every week.
Okay, so now you make me feel lazy. All that you're doing and all that you do, my God, thank you. I mean, I hate to ask this next question, but what's next for you? You did so much.
I left work after almost 20 years with the National Congress of Black Women last fall. And I thought, well, okay, I get a chance to stay home and sleep late. Ha, ha, ha. Everybody wakes me up to do something for them. But I was enjoying it. It was the first time in my life I was able to sleep late, but I didn't really go to bed early. I stayed up writing. And finally, I met a woman whose name is Melanie Green. She is my inspiration right now. She's the one who constantly reminds me that I need to put things in writing, and she reads everything I write. And I know she's going to say, "Why didn't you tell me about this program? I would have wanted to see it." She listens even when I'm out speaking at a rally. I was in Kentucky not long ago working on the Emmett Till case, trying to locate the woman who caused him to be killed. And of course, she just turned her phone on and listened to everything at the rally all day because she likes to hear everything that I'm saying. And I appreciate that. So she's invited me to be her co-producer. and I'm producing documentaries, not just about myself, but I have one for the Stockade girls from the Civil Rights Movement, where these young girls were picketing with Dr. King, actually, 12, 13, 14-year-old girls, and they were locked up for 2 months before their parents knew where they were even. And ultimately, someone did find where they were, but that was after about 2 months of these young girls. Can you imagine just living in kind of an outside stockade kind of thing? So I'm working on that, working on documentaries, not just for myself, but for others. I'm still writing. I still do my radio program. There's quite enough to do. As I said, I'm also helping people to write their life story. And life is just exciting. There's so much going on that there's never a dull moment.
You make me proud to be a single Black woman. I tell you that much.
Well, it's not so bad. Sometimes it's kind of crazy. You got to pay your own bills. That's one of the things you have to understand. There's nobody there to meet the mule for you on Monday morning. You got to do it yourself. But I was married to a wonderful person, and I met him during the Million Man March, even though I had said I will never get married to anybody else because my first marriage was brief but tragic, and almost got killed in that one because there was domestic violence. And so I talk with women a lot about domestic violence. But anyway, I met this man. I'd been working very hard in the organization of the Million Man March. I had, said to Minister Farrakhan, Minister Farrakhan, you said that the women are supposed to stay home and cook and take care of the children and whatever on that day, and just let the men go out and have this big rally. I raised my hand immediately and said, Minister, I love and respect you, but I will not be staying home. I have no children. I have no husband at home. Okay. So the next morning I got a call telling me that I was the co-chair of the Million Man March.
Wow.
I worked with Dr. Benjamin Chavis all of that time. And I met such wonderful brothers from all over the country that I still know. When I'm in their towns, I have protection. I have whatever I need. I have a brother who went shopping for me from underwear to something to wear out. When my clothes did not arrive in his town, he would not allow me to do anything. And that's the way it is when I go to Houston, Birmingham, wherever it is. If there are young men from the nation, they're very protective, very helpful. And so I went ahead and I was able to speak at the Million Man March. I don't want to say unfortunately, but let's just say I kind of melted a little bit. And I thought, well, all brothers aren't bad, after that first catastrophe. And I allowed someone to talk me into getting married. What happened was he came to my house. He raked my leaves before he even came in the house. He came in, he knew how to cook. He taught me how to do natural, meals and what have you. He could clean up the house. He could fix everything, So I thought, this is not bad. So I got married. But what I didn't know is I didn't have enough time to really get to know him. He had served 3 terms in Vietnam. And of course, I was a well-known peace activist, so that didn't set too well. And I learned that our arguments were not about money and all that stuff. They were about peace, human rights, civil rights, etc. And finally, we decided it would be, even though we were friends, it was best not to be married to each other because that just wasn't working. So we now are best friends. I wrote the divorce papers. I'm a lawyer, and I wrote the divorce papers. He didn't even look at them. He just signed them. And after about 3 weeks, we became very good friends. We still are. So, all brothers aren't bad, but you just have to get to know people before you get married to them, because I didn't do that. That was a big mistake. But again, I did gain a good friend.
Thank you for sharing that. You're so beautiful and so interesting. And thank you for saying yes to S.O.S. And, I was going to ask you, why do you think that Black history should be taught in schools? I don't know if you want to mention that a little bit, but that's the climate right now that we're in. Of
course. Looking at what Governor DeSantis, what is his nickname? I've forgotten what the other guy calls him, but it's unfortunate what he is doing. And thus far, it seems to be unfortunate that not a lot of the parents are rising up and talking about and not defending the fact that their children need to learn this history. But I think what it does, it puts the burden on us, if you can call it, to do like what the Black Panthers did years ago. Have schools where we teach our own history, because maybe the teachers who are in many of those Florida schools don't even know our history. And I don't mean just white people, but some of us don't know our history. And we have done some wonderful things. We should know it. We should have books all around our house so that our little nephews and nieces and others can think we're rich because we've got all these books. It's important for us to know our history. It's important for us to know all, particularly the women. There are so many women who've done so many wonderful things to make our community strong. They're still doing that. And we have to know that. I think that's what can make us happy. That's what can make us believe in ourselves and help our children to know the great people who did great things to get them where they are.
Thank you for that. And I want to say that with the women, I didn't even know when they did until that movie, Hidden Figures, about the women behind the scene in NASA. And
absolutely. Well, that's because if we didn't know it, that meant our teachers didn't know it at the time. But let's not blame them for it. We have had the opportunity to have computers, to have beautiful libraries, to be able, our parents can purchase books for our home. So we should know our history. There is no absence of information out there for us to learn. It's easy for us to go on the computer and learn about the wonderful. We need to know Rosa Parks, and that's one of the books that the governor of Florida has said, oh no, we can't teach this because of the action that she took. But we need to know Fannie Lou Hamer and how she suffered to get the right to vote. And our children should know they don't have the right to sit at home, or anyone don't have the right to sit at home and say voting is not important. I learned a long time ago how important it is. I ran for the United States Congress in my state of Louisiana when no Black person had ever dared run for Congress. And I ran a viable race. I was announced as the winner. And after a few minutes, there was a mysterious computer breakdown. And we were told that I lost by less than 0.5%. And the tragedy is that there were over 30,000 registered Black people in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, not counting all the others, but over 30,000 that were registered and didn't even vote that day. So we didn't even need half of those votes in order to win the race. But that didn't stop me from moving on and trying to do other things that were important in our community. And when I visit Louisiana now, and I go into communities, there are little children who know my history and who say, you ran for Congress. In fact, one of the boys said, you really won, you won. They cheated you. He had already talked. They cheated you. So he wasn't even around, or an adult at that time to know the meaning of that. But he has read, he knows my history, he knows the story. And he's been inspired to do things. He's doing great things himself, and I encourage him. He's on social media, and I answer all of his little social media. He's an adult now. He has children, but he reads. He knows what is going on, and he knows the importance of being able to vote and what people have gone through. Just even back to just my history, and the people before me went through even more than that. But you know what? I've been inspired by those people who were inspired by my race, because now Louisiana, that had no black member of Congress, New Orleans, ever since I ran, New Orleans has always had a Black person now as their member of Congress, but nobody even ran before that. And the last time I checked, there were over 20 Black female mayors of cities, including the largest ones, New Orleans, Baton Rouge. Those are sisters. Many of those Black women mayors will tell you that my running inspired them to run. And I'm so pleased that I took the beating I took, in order to run that race. And we have to understand, we may not always make it to the end of whatever that is, but something we do can inspire somebody else to take it the next step. And that's what history is all about, moving on the next step and increasing the value of what we did. But let us never forget the value of all of those Black women, Ida B. Wells, Barnett, Amelia Bunch. There are just so many, I can't even name them.
They all on my shirt.
Yes, of course. Michelle Obama. I remember meeting Michelle when we were campaigning for Barack, and the story is told that I was supporting him before she was, but we had fun, campaigning for him. And all the time we believed it could be done. So it was done, but you have to work to make it happen and teach others how to make things happen too. So I'm just so pleased that I had a mother who always expected her girls to do great things.
That's so wonderful. I appreciate you. You know, you were speaking, and I remember one of Pastor Jill's stories that she shared with us. Her daughter is a doctor, and
Yes.
she said when her daughter was in school, she would ask the teacher when her daughter had to do book reports, can she do one on the first African American female doctor? And something like that. So all of those kinds of things, you're right, add to our parents, our homes, where we should start teaching us children our own history way before we get to school and while in school. And it is on us to do so.
And I remember when I was going to the Soul Factory, when Mr. Gregory was with us, we would go there, and I heard a lot about Jill's daughter. And, you know, I'm proud when I hear these great stories about what young people are doing. We started out talking about a young woman that I know who's doing great things. And I think we need to applaud them, because someday some other children are going to be looking to them as their role models.
Right. And I applaud you. I salute you. I salute Pastor Jill for this women's history. I salute her daughter, Dr. Talita Jordan, and all the beautiful women that's doing great things. And I love this story, and I love your story. And I look forward to reading your book. I look forward to reading your life story. You seem so very interesting to me. And I met you through Pastor Jill and the Soul Factory when you and Dr.
Those were the great old days. I love those days
Yes.
when we'd get a chance to go. And, you know, I like to stay home on Sunday evening, but I was ready when Mr. Gregory was ready. He said, we're going to the Soul Factory. I was ready to go, always.
We love you all. We appreciate you. Thank you for inviting us into your lives. And from this moment on, we won't forget you. We will speak your name.
Thank you. I love all of you. Let's be kind to one another.
Yes, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, that was so great. Did you guys enjoy that? And I know if you have questions, what I want to say, Dr. Williams, where can we hear your radio show? And what is the name of it? If you could come back on.
The name of my program is Wake Up and Stay Woke. It's on WPFW FM 89.3. You can just go to your computer, your cell phone, and put in WPFW FM.org and scroll down to the 10 o'clock time. It's called Wake Up and Stay Woke. Again, in remembrance of the one and only Dick Gregory. My articles appear in the Informa and papers all across the country. So almost any time people can get it. In terms of my book, Wake Up and Stay Woke, now that you ask me, you can just go to the Dick Gregory, the Dick Gregory Society.org, and that's THE DickGregorySociety.org. And I hope many of you will want to join the society when you go to that website to see the details. Thank you so much again.
Thank you. We love you too. Hey, everyone. I'm still excited. I'm excited about what the Soul Factory is doing with S.O.S. And I want to share with you our sponsor is Be Free 365. Who wouldn't want to be free 365 days? So you can go to their website, befree365.com, and visit and see the great things they're doing for all the women empowerment sessions they have and seminars that's going to be coming up soon, and whatever the Lord is doing with us. Just be around, because he's doing some great things. So I want to share with you guys our very next special guest, going right into From History to Legacy, Miss Ayanna Gregory, the daughter of Dr. Dick Gregory, who you heard about from the very own Dr. E.Faye Willliams. And he, of course, civil rights activist. She, in her own right, Miss Ayanna Gregory, is carrying on that legacy. And she's a singer, dramatist, activist. She's always doing something too and going on. So I caught up with her last week, and we're going to roll that tape and go straight there.
Always play the victim role to satisfy my need to be right. Always feeling so alone, neglected by the men in my life. But they were just doing what I wanted. See, they were just giving what I gave. But now I want the real thing. So let it be a new path I pave.
Good afternoon, Ayanna.
Good afternoon.
I want to say, first of all, thank you for saying yes to S.O.S. S.O.S. and the crew that's here today with me. I just want to share a little bit about S.O.S.
Okay.
We are, and our mission is to provide a sisterhood community with open space to express your whole single self. So today, we're here to celebrate Women's History Month. I didn't know it was Women's History Month. Someone had to tell me. I had another whole situation happening that I was going to do something else. And someone says, Gail, you know this is Women's History Month? I was like, oh, okay, I need to be in tune.
That's right.
So what I did, I went to sleep. I said, okay, God, I don't know what to do. And as God have it, he speaks to me in my dreams a lot. And so one morning I woke up and I said, Dr. E.Faye, history. And then I thought, what else can I do? And I thought legacy. Who better to get for legacy than Dr. Dick Gregory's daughter, Ayanna Gregory, who is carrying on the legacy. So we're going to get into that a little more. But I want to talk a little bit about what I feel about Miss Ayanna Gregory that I met some years ago through Pastor Jill, I believe in the Soul Factory, or it could have been at Dr. E.Faye, who is going to be one of our guests as well for history, Dr. E.Faye Willliams, through one of her National Congress of Black Women brunches. I can't remember which came first, but either way, I still met you and your family through the Soul Factory.
Yes, indeed.
And Pastor Duran and Jill Cloud. So that I'm grateful for, right?
Yes.
So this is what I feel about you. I feel you embody the spirit of our ancestors. And your mother and your father.
Ashe.
And most importantly, you embody the spirit of love.
Thank you.
This is why you're such a special guest for me.
I received that.
Right?
Yeah.
You're part of the sisterhood now. So as I always tell my guests, welcome to Sold Out Single.
Thank you.
Welcome to the platform. Welcome to the conversation.
Thank you, sister. I'm honored that you chose me.
Oh my gosh. I can't even think of another person that I would just want to be in the room with to continue the legacy. I've been in the room with your dad.
Yes.
I've been in the room with your family when y'all gave a special tribute to your mom.
Yes.
And what's her name? The Ayanna?
Ayanna Van Zandt.
Was the guest. Yes, thank you. So I was there for that. And when I come around you, and I just feel spiritual even more.
Wow.
And I like that feeling.
That's good.
Yeah, that's what I feel. And you all who don't know, this is the daughter of the late civil rights activist, author, comedian, Dr. Dick Gregory.
Yes, indeed.
And one of the most dedicated women, wife, mother, and friend, Mrs. Lillian Gregory.
Yes, indeed.
This is Black. I was about to say Black History Month. This is Women's History Month, and I want to say your mother's name, Mrs. Lillian Gregory.
Yes.
I want to say Dr. E.Faye Willliams to my beautiful flower, Ayanna Gregory, and I also want to say who I call my woman king, Pastor Jill Cloud.
Ashe.
I want to say
thank you, Sister
name.
Gail,
Absolutely.
because you are among us as a shining queen. I love basking in your light. I am a reflection of you. So, Queen, Sister Gail, we celebrate you too in this moment.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we do.
I love that. Okay, so as I would say to my other guests, let's jump right in.
Let's do it.
We got some questions. You know, some of my guests, they put me sometimes in a restraint box. I got some of my questions in advance. But I say, Ayanna, please give me just one question where we can leave open.
Absolutely.
So the spirit can flow.
Yeah,
and
let
we'll
it
see how
flow.
that goes. But
flow.
never want to take them so off course that, you know, like, okay, Dr. E.Faye going to hear this. She asked me something that wasn't on the sheet, and I couldn't come up with anything. I was like, oh my God, Dr. E.Faye. So now I understand why you all do it. I appreciate it even more. So my first question I want to ask Miss Ayanna Gregory, are you single?
That's a great question.
We laughing because it's an inside joke. We got an inside joke happening. We can't tell
Yes,
y'all.
indeed. So I am single, as in not married. I am dating someone.
Okay, wonderful.
So, yeah.
And you should be.
Yes. And I also will say this because, you know, I've never been married. I always imagined that I would be. I don't have any children biologically. I always imagined that I would.
We're twins.
Okay.
Never married, no children.
I had to grieve that, because for me, I never imagined that I would not be married and not have children. And so even today, when my little nieces and nephews say, Aunt Ayanna, you know, are you going to have any children? Are you going to get married? And so there was a time where that would have really been, it really would have been a hurtful reminder of what hadn't happened. But honestly, I feel like after my dad transitioned in 2017, I became so much more focused and dedicated and fulfilled with the journey of the continuation of their legacy, he and my mom, that I didn't feel like anything was missing anymore.
Wow, that's so great. That's so wonderful. I never heard it expressed that way, like you grieved what you didn't have.
Yeah.
That you imagined that you would have.
Yeah.
That's so profound to me. And maybe I need to think about that for myself too, because I could sometimes just go, and not take a moment. And every now and again, I would say, oh yeah, it would be nice, you know, to be in a relationship. It would be nice, you know, because I wanted to be married and I wanted to have children. And I would say periodically that God has given me nieces and nephews.
Yes.
He's given me little kids in the church that I've gotten attached to. I have a big goddaughter who's 40. And now I have a new little goddaughter who's Pastor Jill's granddaughter, Zuri. So now I have another baby that I can give all that attention to.
Yes.
And give all that love to.
Yes.
That I wanted to.
Absolutely.
And you know, and people don't know this, but I'll share this. And I had a miscarriage years ago.
Wow.
So I grieved that, but I never thought to grieve what I had imagined. And I think I like that. I'm going to think about that a little more. I appreciate that. Thanks for sharing that.
Absolutely.
All right. I think this question is so simple, but I think it is so deep. Who are you? And you can think about that, because it's a simple question, but it can be a deep question.
It is.
Like, who are you?
Yeah. And honestly, I think the answer would change upon any given day. In this moment, Ayanna is a spiritual being on an extraordinary journey. I'm a storyteller. I'm an artist. I am a healer, a medicine woman of sorts. I am a daughter, a sister, an auntie, a freedom fighter, a continuation of my parents' legacy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You embody all of that. I see all of that. I've experienced some of that with you, in the room with you.
Yes.
Yes. For those who don't know, Sister Ayanna blessed us in Cambridge, Maryland. I think it was 2019.
That was so good.
Yes, wasn't it?
It was.
Oh my God. It was at Jill Cloud's women's conference, and we had it 2019. I think it was November. And I thought, okay, I'm used to doing her conferences, coordinating and helping with all that. But something happened there.
It was so powerful.
Yes.
It was really powerful. And to be honest, what I remember is that my nephew had just died, and I did not think that I would be able to come, and Spirit said, go for you.
Wow.
Go. And the way that y'all surrounded me, I couldn't have prepared myself for what I received. When sisters gather, powerful healing happens intentionally and unintentionally.
Yes.
That's what happens. And so Spirit said, go. I'm telling you to go. And baby, I cried. Y'all cried.
Yeah, I was on the phone telling you, don't come.
Yes, you did.
Saying, oh my God, take care of that.
It was by far the most painful moment of our family's life, I would say. Or I should just say one of the most. And I didn't know who I was anymore. And Spirit said, go. You said, take care of yourself, but Spirit said, go. And oftentimes, doing the work that we do as healers and educators and speakers and, pastors and just people who choose to move to inspire those around us, those who choose to walk in the light. Sometimes we don't know that what it is that we're going to is just as much for us as it is for the intended audience.
I absolutely agree.
I know that now. And I look forward to it now.
Yes.
Yeah.
I knew this session was going to be spiritual. Like, I knew it. I had to prepare myself to go in another whole realm, because I just so knew that once you walk into the light and then you bring in the light with the other light.
Yes.
Because oftentimes we're the light that have to go to the darkness to pull those in the darkness out. That's why we're healers and educators. And as Pastor Jill say, we're each other's soulmate.
Yes.
And we raise the consciousness of people, the awareness of it, so we can bring it up and bring their levels up.
Yes, indeed.
Right?
Yeah.
And so now when you're in a room full of light and like-minded people, every now and again it's like going to a gas station getting filled up.
Yeah.
So we need that.
We do.
So we could be refreshed and replenished. And we have to go around our sisters to pull on strength where I'm weak. And then I leave from here, I'm like, I'm empowered. I'm going to save the world.
Exactly.
That's how I feel sometimes.
Yeah.
And when I met Michelle Obama, I felt that I'm going to go do something. I don't even know what, but I want to do something great.
Infectious.
When you're around greatness, you want to not be different. You don't want to be minute anymore in your thinking.
Right.
In your doing.
Right.
I want to go and do more. I want to be more.
Yes.
And not be more for me, as you say, God would do that part. I want to be more for him, for who he sends me out to, because I have to meet someone. Everywhere I go, I'm going to meet who God has an appointed time for me to meet.
Yes.
I have to be ready,
Yes.
have to be in the right spirit, and I have to be on call. You know, like doctors and police officers and all these public servant people on call. We too are on call. Middle of the night, you might get a phone call. Wake up, somebody's going through. Can I just talk to you? I might be grouchy. Go ahead. I'm gonna be available.
Right. Absolutely.
And I like that.
Yeah.
So since we're honoring women in history, I want you to think about women. Who's the first one come to your mind?
The first one that comes to my mind is my mama. My mother. Lillian Estelle
Mama
Gregory. Yeah, the first one that comes to mind is my mom. She birthed 11 babies. I was on the phone with her. I talk to her usually every day. And sometimes she'll say, did I really have 11 babies? Did I really marry Dick Gregory? Did I really travel the world? Did I really, sit up in jail any number of times, pregnant in the movement? 8 months pregnant with twins down in Selma, Alabama, down in Mississippi. Did I really? And not to mention all that they did outside of the country, even outside of the civil rights movement. I mean, they were on missions in Germany and Russia and London and in Africa. In any number of countries in Africa. I know Africa is not a country. Okay?
That's amazing, because it's things we could never know. It's not written. You all know. Just like we don't know the whole story of Jesus, because all of that couldn't be written.
Yes.
So this is good to know, because this is why it's so important as you carry on the legacy, and we talk about legacy, which I think is so great. You know this. They don't teach all this in the schools.
Yes.
And they're trying to stop some of this stuff in the schools for us to learn about our own history.
Yes.
Our own families, our own ancestors. Why can't I know that?
Absolutely.
And I'm glad that you were able to take what you learned from your mom and dad. I'm glad God embodied you with that, so you could carry this on.
Yes. And there's something to be said about the oral tradition. I think there's so much in today's day that attempts to eliminate the African oral tradition that we've always had. There's so much history that's happened that you'll never see in the history books, right? And so, speaking of my mom, not only was she Dick Gregory's wife, not only was she taking care of every aspect of his life, not only was she raising 10 babies, not only was she keeping us safe. We're talking about a time in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, because there's a large range of us. My oldest sister was born in the late 50s, and then my youngest brother was born in 1971. So we're talking about from the late 50s.
Wow.
Just our birth.
Right.
And then all the way, decades that followed, there was a target on my father's back, which meant there was a target on us.
Yes.
You know, he was a public enemy of the state, not because he was dangerous, but because he was speaking the truth, which of course was dangerous.
Right.
In an environment where they were suppressing that. He was teaching black people to love themselves. He was telling the truth about everything. And so my mother was there not only just to protect us, to take care of us and take care of him, but she was on the front line too.
Yes.
That's what people don't know.
Right.
She was literally on the front line as well. Pregnant.
Wow.
You know, holding little babies, holding toddlers.
Right.
You know, during the Vietnam War in 1969, my mother and father, they were given a tape for which they knew they could have been killed. This was during the Vietnam War. They received a tape from a friend of theirs of the My Lai massacre. That was a video showing innocent men, women, and children in South Vietnam being murdered by U.S. Army soldiers. The U.S. government knew about it, but they were attempting to suppress it. They did not want it to reach this country, any news of it. So my mother flew by herself from London to Paris, Paris to Montreal, Montreal to Toronto, and Toronto to Chicago with that footage. 2 men followed her on every flight. She didn't eat because she knew she would have been poisoned.
Okay.
She had never been so scared in her life. And so she brings this footage into the country. The U.S. government realizes now that Dick Gregory's family has this footage in the country and is going to come out with it. So now they're forced to break the story.
Wow.
You'll never see it in a history book, but that this quiet black woman who didn't even want you to know her name helped to change the trajectory of history. This was footage that would help to eventually end the Vietnam War. This sister brought it in the country.
That's why I speak her name.
Let us
Mrs.
speak her
Lillian,
name.
what's her middle name?
Estelle.
Mrs. Lillian Estelle Gregory.
Ashe.
I speak your name and I honor you.
We honor you, Mama.
Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
You all just went to school. You just got educated. That is not in your history book.
No, ma'am.
A lot of the truth isn't. But thank you for living that truth and bringing it out to us.
Yes.
We appreciate you. Oh my gosh. What makes you tick?
Woo! So many things.
Well, let me start with what ticks you off.
Oh. A lot. I would say, 2 things that I would say really bother me, even, I want to be very transparent, even as they show up in myself.
Okay.
Cowardice and apathy.
Yes.
I can't stand it. And the ways in which I have seen cowardice show up in me, it's been difficult to live with that.
Okay.
And then, of course, I would have an opportunity to do something about it. I can't tell you how many times I didn't say something because I was afraid to. And it was eating me up. And then eventually I had an opportunity to do something about it. Apathy really bothers me. And because we are in a culture that breeds apathy, you will have people who will videotape somebody getting hurt before they will help somebody getting hurt. That incenses me. I can't tell you how much that bothers me. Followers. The whole idea of just following along, going with the flow, even if it's not in alignment with who we are, that bothers me. And so when I talk to kids, I travel the world talking to young people, I speak to that part of them that's afraid to just be themselves, because we have like a small percentage. If you go to any school, right, and you say, oh, who are the bullies? It's a small percentage who are doing the bullies, and it's probably a small percent who are just, doing all the right things all the time. But that middle group, followers, they just go with the flow, and so they are the most important and potentially important and dangerous group.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
I
And
do.
so for me, I want us to think for ourselves and move with courage. And I'm talking to myself as well. But the thing that ticks me off about me at times and ticks me off when I see it in the world is cowardice and apathy, because I really want us to be able to step into a place where, look, we don't know what the repercussions of our truth is, but at the end of the day, it is our truth, and the Most High gonna guide us and protect us from whatever the wrath is that may come from us really just flat-footed, telling it like it is, and doing it the way that we really want to do it on the inside.
Oh, and y'all hear that? Passion.
Yeah.
This is what I'm
part.
talking about. In sync with that. What ticks me off is injustice.
Mm-hmm.
Flip the coin, and what makes me tick is justice.
Ashe.
This is why I understand what you're saying. I get it. For those who, I see something going wrong, I'm probably going to speak up.
Do something about it.
Yes.
Say something.
Because I've been there too. I've been
Yes.
quiet. And what Dr. King say, there's a time when silence is a betrayal.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
So when I read that, I said, oh, let me start speaking up.
Absolutely.
Let me start talking. And just a little short story. It's little and it's small, but I think it might have an impact on the child because I was in, Popeye's Chicken. I said it. I was Popeye's Chicken. And this young lady was hitting her son side the head. I was in Edgewood. Should you ever see this tape, young lady, prayerfully, perhaps, hopefully, he didn't get beat no more. But he was getting hit side the head, and my sister's with me. So she saw the look on my face. She moved to another line. So I don't know that people, because I'm Gail about to say something.
That's right.
And I said, God, please help me. Because there are times I do pray, Lord, let me mind my business.
Right.
Because I see something. And so I said, okay, I'm going to just be quiet. But she, as the universe would have it, had to come over my way and get some tissue. I was like, oh my God, the Lord's bringing it over here. He's bringing it over here.
Right.
And I said, excuse me, ma'am. I said, ma'am, have you ever been hit in the head? I said, because it hurts. I said, you're hitting your son in the head and you're telling him to be quiet. He can't because it hurts.
Right.
And she said, well, he's bad. And I paused for a moment. I said, you know what? There are two truths on the table here. He may be bad, but it also hurts getting hit in the head. And everybody was looking at him, so it had to be embarrassing. But he was looking at me like, oh my gosh, she in trouble with my mama.
Right.
But I took a stand, and all the people was looking at her, hitting this little boy. And so she, when she finished getting her tissue, and I said, I just want to thank you for letting me mind your business. And so my sister, she said, I think he might get a beating tonight. I said, not tonight.
No, he's not. No, I agree with you.
She's going to hear my voice tonight.
Absolutely.
I can't speak for
She
the other
remembered
days,
that.
but that day,
Absolutely.
I think a change might have happened.
And he heard someone standing for him.
Yes, like she talking to mama. Like,
Yeah. They both remembered that.
If he thought his mom was the big bad wolf or something, like I can't say nothing.
Absolutely.
There was a protector and a healer came
Absolutely.
through,
That's powerful.
right?
Yeah.
Because that's who we are
You
called
were
to be.
his guardian angel that day.
Right.
Yeah, really.
So I am with you with that.
Wow.
Let's do something. Let's be something.
Let's-
Let's be who God called us. We're protectors of each other. Let's do that.
Yes. Now, may I say what makes me tick?
Yes.
Okay, so I would say too is the opposite of injustice, the opposite of cowardice and apathy is justice, is stepping into your truth. What makes me tick? Young people, because they're so authentic, especially the little ones, who have not been taught that they can't just do and be whatever it is that they come up with in that moment. They operate in the now. They ain't waiting for tomorrow.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? They make me tick. They're so beautiful. They're so naturally forgiving. They don't hold grudges. I love being around young people. And I remember just recently my brother Johanse's daughter, Akoma, she's 6. And Akoma was like, I was just thinking, because they were out and they saw a homeless man who asked for money, and it really bothered her. Now, we've been conditioned to walk past homeless people every day. Oh,
Yeah.
it's just normal.
Yeah.
She was like, wait a minute, why are we walking past him? He needs money. And then she thought, it really bothered her. And then she said, I was just thinking, money is just made up. Somebody made money. Like, why don't we just do away with money and then we could just give each other the things we need? If I have something you need, or if you have something I need.
Wow.
Now, we know that's not a new concept in the world, but it was new for her. And she came up with it all on her own from a spirit of everybody should get to win. Everybody should get to be okay.
I so love that.
That's the stuff that makes me tick. When I see these things happening in young people's minds, that is pretty much the antithesis of what, you know, the Western world has taught us and all the craziness that's going on in the world. And then you see young people with these young minds that are smiling and laughing and forgiving and not holding grudges and running and skipping and being happy in the midst of it all. Not to say they don't have moments where they're crying or upset, but then they jump right back into being joyful, into being into motion. So young people make me tick. The idea of love, of forgiveness, of really just people who really want to make healing and goodness cool again. You know what I'm saying? Like that makes me tick. That really, I love the idea that like, this ain't corny. Like, do you know how gangster you gotta be in 2023 to move with unconditional love, to move with forgiveness?
I'm about to raise my hand.
And that ain't some gangster stuff.
I'm in church. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So that makes me tick. The other thing that makes me tick is when I am in the presence of unabashed, spiritual, manifested fire in a human that is living their life out, living out loud. You know, so individuals like Dick Gregory, watching him move, knowing that he was given such a specific and divine and anointed path and that he was up for it. Seeing that happening in motion, seeing that, and then we talk about us being each other's reflection. That not like, oh wow, that's amazing over there. No, that if I can see it, that means it's also in me.
Wow.
So that makes me tick. I mean, I'm feeling goosebumps right now just thinking about when I used to watch my father on stage speaking.
And if you just stop sometime and figure out, it's a universal intelligence. 13's an unlucky number. You heard that before. 13's an unlucky number. No place in the world had 13 unlucky number but America. Why? It was the 13th Amendment that freed you. And it convinced you it's unlucky.
He wasn't even my father in that moment. I was just in awe. Like, what is this thing? Who is this man? What is this spirit, this God voice coming through him that I could just feel tingling? I don't care if I saw this man speak 50,000 times. Every time it got me because it reflected that same thing in me. That same thing in me. That makes me tick. I see it in, you know, brilliant musicians like Stevie Wonder. And then also in folks who the world doesn't even know, but that who took something from the Most High, took a gift and said, I could use this gift for anything I want to, but I am going to use it to help my environment better than I found it. That part. You know, not just the gift, but the awareness of the gift and the awareness to use that gift to vibrate higher and take everybody else with you. That makes me tick. That makes me tick.
It's hard to make me speechless. I'm quiet right now. When I get quiet, I'm in church. I'm in the presence of the Lord. Thank you. That's so wonderful and powerful.
Yes, ma'am.
And it couldn't come from no better person than you, the offspring of that kind of power, that kind of fire. I had a segment called This Girl's on Fire. I'm gonna have to do part 2. I'm gonna have to get a few more guests to come in. I'm gonna have to do a part 2.
Yes, ma'am.
Because this girl is on fire. And I know it when I see it. I know it when I feel it because I am fire.
Yes, you are.
So I'm going to say something.
Okay.
And I just want you to just say whatever comes to your mind.
Okay.
See, what do I have? Oh, first I want to ask you, what's 3 core values? Because we always talk about core values on S.O.S.
Yes.
So what are your 3 core values? I do 5, but.
Okay.
Go ahead. Love. All right.
Freedom, joy.
Girl, our mothers and fathers you're my twin. I love it. Somebody done something, they ain't tell us.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, indeed.
Come through.
Yes.
Come on, twin.
Oh, this is another whole level. You're definitely coming back. And I want to get your niece too, because I'm doing a spinoff called Sold Out Sister, Little Sister.
Oh.
Sold Out Little Sister. I want to get her.
Yes.
So I already interviewed my first guest, my wonderful goddaughter, Zuri. So I already taped her. Wow. So I want to get your, before I kick it off, I'm gonna back up a little bit on that and get her in there.
She will love that.
Oh yeah, we about to do that. We're gonna add that on. See, this is why you gotta leave the whole space open for impromptu. Never know. So I'm gonna say this. Let me see where I put I got some notes, Ayanna.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say it, and you. I'm gonna say the word, but I want you to sing it. Just a bar.
Okay, you're gonna say the word and I'll sing it.
Now.
Now.
Go ahead and sing that next verse. What's your song?
Oh, you want me to sing?
Give me a bar.
Oh, a bar of my song. Okay, got you. I know that I want more. What am I waiting for? I think I'm ready now. Forget what they told me. World can't hold me now.
I need some tissue. I'm so gonna cry.
She is not playing. Now you're gonna make me go and listen.
Okay. In 1932.
1932, somehow Mama knew God had a plan for you. With the light around your head, some tried to hurt you, but you made them laugh instead. I love you, Daddy.
From hunger strike
to war on drugs, taking home the corporate thugs. You went to jail 1,000 times, exposing white supremacy crimes. From human right to eating right, you led the world into the light. A universal God force. Information is your power source. Fire starter, innovator, peacekeeper, magic maker, actor, author, philosopher, comedian, warrior, soul survivor, golden son, freedom fighter, chosen one, living legend, the coolest, yeah. See the world stand caught up with you, yeah. No.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can I share something?
Girl, yes.
I want to share a little piece of the song that I wrote for my mama.
You know, I was going to ask you that, but I thought I ran out of time. So please.
Let me do it. All right. 10 babies that she raised and they wonder why she had to be at 10 places at the same time. You can't tell me that this here woman can't fly. She's the rock, the power source they didn't see. She didn't want the credit, so she passed it down to me. But deep down, she's the root holding up this tree. And she don't talk about what she been through, and she don't brag about all the things she do, but you can see the light in her eyes. She talks soft but got a heart that goes from here to the sky. Mama, this one's for you, so you can see you from my view. A woman so beautiful, a love indescribable. Mama, this one's for you. Mama, so beautiful. Without you, what would I do? Yeah. Mama, this one's for you, you. Lillian Estelle Smith Gregory. This one's for you, Mama.
I salute you, Ayanna Gregory.
Thank you.
For Women History Month and being a woman of legacy.
Thank you.
S.O.S, we salute you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm looking at this thing like I wasn't there. Oh, this blessed me. Thank you all for your comments. I see it coming through. I'm with you guys. Oh my God. I mean, I'm still like looking like, is there more? I was there. And I'm telling you, it's so beautiful. And we saluting the women, her mom, Ayanna, thank you. That was so beautiful to me. And There were some other parts my own brother David cut out, but it was so funny. So I get why he did that. But maybe one day when I have our anniversary, I'll play some bloopers that you guys don't get to see. But anyways, this was so great for me, so inspiring. I thank Pastor Jill for even creating this platform for us so we can even have these types of conversations with our single sisters that doing a doggone thing. And for all of you that's doing your thing, keep doing it. Keep being inspired. I want to thank Dr. E.Faye Willliams for hanging in there with us, for setting the road on fire so we can walk on it and walk in there. Thank Pastor Jill for walking on water so we too can believe we can do that too, doing some mighty things in the earth. You too can do that. You guys, you got it. You got it. Believe and do it. Be, Pastor Jill tells us all the time, be who you are. Be free. Be those things. Be authentic. Be your true voice. Be the truth that you are. Even Shakespeare said, to thy own self be true. Let's start there. We have a beautiful story about ourselves. Let's share that. Let's share that with the world. What Miss Ayanna Gregory said, to come make this environment better than we found it. That's what her legacy is continuing to do from her own dad and mom. That's what I want to continue to do. Let's live out our legacy. You know, Pastor Jill preached one time, I think it might have been one of her sermons or maybe seminars. And it might have been the why seminar, you know, lose your why, you'll lose your way. It was not, don't leave just an impression, leave an imprint. Leave an imprint of who you are. And that's what I want to do. I want to leave an imprint of who I am, who God embodies me to be to the world, and who he called me to be for his own divine purpose, his own divine will. Whatever that is, I surrender to it. I'm going to be one of those ones. I ain't living a perfect life, but I am living a redeemed life. And I'm going to say yes. And y'all already told y'all this story before. Pastor Jill called me for things. I say yes first. Then I'll be like, oh Lord, what's the assignment? But what's beautiful about that is you have the power of choice to say yes. Let's do that. You know, our sister Keita, she had to take care of something happened with her mom this morning. That had to change for her. So she couldn't join us, but she too, she's in the industry of entertainment and she does production and all that stuff. So she wanted to celebrate two women. We're just going to show their slides real quick. Ava DuVernay and Taraji, how do you say her name? Taraji Henson. I want to say her name right. You all know her from some of the films she made, A Wrinkle in Time, and she's a creator, director, co-writer of the Netflix drama miniseries When They See Us. She did the story that's based on a Central Park 5. Look that up if you don't know what that's about. She did some beautiful, wonderful work. She is single. I'm just saying. And so yeah, read about her, look her up, Google her. You can read here some of the things that our own sister Keita looked up, and she wanted to honor this young lady, Ava DuVernay, for Women's History Month. We speak your name, Ava. Thank you for being the trailblazer that you are and believing in who you are and bringing your gift and allow God to use you to bring film, production, entertainment. Our next guest that Keita wanted to share with us, Taraji P. Henson. She's from our area, y'all. And for those who don't know, we're in the DMV. And so her mom still lives in the area. So she comes home quite a bit. But you can read about her here. And she has a foundation in honor of her father. You can read a little more about her and her mission. And, you know, what I believe all of us have in common is healing. As Pastor Jill say, raising the consciousness of our people. And it's important to us to care for each other. Dr. E.Faye mentioned that. Her one word is caring. If I had to say my one word, it would probably be who I am. I want to think about that a little more, but definitely caring is definitely one of those words for sure. And I think that when you start with care, you can build upon that. We got a song we're going to play a little later. Y'all only hit one bar of it, but I got the song for you, the whole song. Also, there you go, Q&A. Raise your hand and they'll open your mic for you. So if you have anything to say, want to ask a question of Dr. E.Faye Willliams, we'll get it to her. She might still be on. Google her as well. Oh, Dr. E.Faye is still there. Look at, don't make me smile, Dr. E.Faye. Thank you for hanging out with us today, joining the S.O.S crew. Look at you. You're part of the sisterhood now. That's it.
Yes, of course. I enjoyed Ayanna so much. Whenever her dad was out of town, he would be sure that I would go to her program. So I got a chance, so that somebody was there representing, and I would always go. I've just heard her songs so many times, and they're always so wonderful, so inspirational. And just like she talks about her mom, as she said, I started out with my mom, who's right here behind me. We remember those moms because all of them did great things, and many of them are still doing them. My mom always told us, don't worry about me. I'm going to live until I'm 100. Well, she made it almost to 100. She was 99, but Mr. Gregory said she made it to 100 because you have to count those 9 months. And so in that respect, she made it, that just like she promised us. So we never had to worry about her.
Amen for that. Anybody else got anything to comment or ask Dr. Williams while we got her in our presence? I'd like to say thank you, whoever wrote. We're so blessed to have these women in our generation enlighten us, educate us, inspire us, and challenge us. Thank you, Jill and Gail. God bless you, whoever wrote that. I think that might have been Mont Cloud. I'm not sure. This was a good and necessary. Thank you, Gail. Everything Creative TV. I got to get you because I think that's Tennille. My mind serves me right. So you guys, thank you all. The spirit is jumping. Sharita, I got you. I'm right there with you. Joanne put in a comment. How can we get the music Ayanna sing? Google her. She's on YouTube, AyannaGregory.com, Twitter, all that other stuff. I don't know, but I think it's I am Ayanna Gregory. I think that for sure. And when you go to her website, you can get her too, booking Ayanna Gregory. Something like that.com. But hit me up, S.O.S. At thesoulfactory.com, and I'll make sure you get our information too if you don't get it here. Yay, Tennille, got you, girl. Be ready, because I'm calling you. This is what I do, Dr. Williams. Anybody say a comment, I'm going to get them on S.O.S. next.
Okay. Ayanna was so wonderful. She's so beautiful and so smart. I mean, she can tell you things that just help you to breathe easier, knowing that there's somebody out there that's got good sense, and
yes,
she represents her dad and her mom so well. I'm so proud of her.
Amen. We're going to get the link to you after the editors do what they do.
Oh, so you're saving my life.
Yes, so you can send it to your agent and send it to your followers of your radio show. You can and it's easy, one click, and you are open right up to S.O.S.
Wonderful.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for inviting me. I was, reluctant at first because I wanted to sleep late this morning, but I am so glad you talked me into doing this. And yes, and I want Jill to know I still love her. I think about her, think about Duran all the time and the wonderful times we had at the Soul Factory when Mr. Gregory was with us. Amen. I mean, he's still with us. I still know he's with us, but when he was here, in person, yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Soul Factory. Thank you, S.O.S. Thank you, Be Free 365, who's our sponsor. We appreciate all of you. We love you. And we hope to see you soon and see you next time. As Pastor Jill would say, continue the God work. Keep up the good work.
Always play the victim role to satisfy my need to be right. Always feeling so alone, neglected by the men in my life. But they were just doing what I wanted. See, they were just giving what I gave. But now I want the real thing. So let it be a new path I pay. Yeah. Afraid of my destiny. Who am I to live to be? The universe keeps blessing me. But Every single time I renege, filled with insecurity, sabotage and royalty, planned mediocrity, yeah. Self-fulfilled prophecy, afraid to let them see who is she. I know that I want more. What am I waiting for? I think I'm ready now. Forget what they told me. World can't hold me. You know that you want more. What are you waiting for? I think you're ready now. Forget what they told you. World can't hold you now. Well, I choose a different path now. I choose the higher road. I don't have to be right no more. 'Cause in the end only God knows. All I am is dust in the wind, and I'll return again. Freedom has made me sure, and this time I'm seeking more. Yeah, I need more.